it is time to have a conversation about the Houston Texans. Since week 7, the Houston Texans, a team that we all thought could be Super Bowl contenders, are 1-3. But the defense has been fine in that stretch. They rank top 12 in EPA per play in general, and in dropback and rush EPA per play. But the offense is 24th in EPA per play, and in dropback and in rush. They have not been able to do a thing. Now, this starts with the offensive line playing poorly throughout this stretch. We will get to the specific games of which they played poorly later, but it also starts with CJ Stroud. During this stretch, CJ has 198.5 yards per game, 2 touchdowns, and 4 turnovers. Among qualified quarterbacks, he's second to last in EPA per play at negative 0.094 and last in completion percentage over expected at negative 8. He's just making mistakes that us as fans are not used to seeing with superstar quarterback, superstar second overall pick rookie, win a playoff game against the Browns, a team that destroyed you in the regular season last year, quarterback in CJ Stroud. We are not used to seeing this from him. The Carlton Davis interception at the beginning of the second half, well, both, were terrible. Those are throws that should not have been made or should have been made a lot better, more well thrown to the outside and all that, but he just didn't do it. He had 2 interceptions, Carlton Davis, on CJ Stroud on the first 2 second half drives. In that half, against the Lions, they had 97 total offensive yards. 97. On one of the drives, they had a holding on 1st and 10, and a false start on 2nd and 10 in another drive, and both of those drives obviously ended in punts. They were sacked on both of those drives, and there's just nothing that Stroud could do to improve on this game. He made terrible throws. He had some good ones, but terrible throws overall. Then it goes to Joe Mixon, which I'm giving a pass to. In that game, he went 25 for 46 and a touchdown. But throughout this season, he has rushed for 100 yards in more games than he has not. I think he has 2 games of not 100 yards. So he gets a pass. They have won games strictly because Joe Mixon has played well. Tank Dell hasn't had the best season after a great rookie season prior to getting injured on that run blocking play, which was stupid. Why do you have him run blocking at the goal line in that type of tight formation? It made no sense besides the point. But Joe Mixon's getting the pass. And the offensive line has just been bad. 35 sacks on the season. That is 3rd worst in the NFL. They are 20th in pass block grade according to PFF and 23rd in run block grade. Laramie Tunsil has not been himself. Titus Howard hasn't been good. Kenyon Green hasn't been good, and the other players just have not been good at all. You expect a jump from Kenyon Green. This early in his career, you expect the jump in that second year. You don't get it. You just don't get it from him. And yeah, there are injuries, right? Diggs is out for the year now with a torn ACL. Nico's been out for a bunch of games. He was on IR, and he's coming back next week, and he was questionable for the Sunday night game against Detroit. You have Will Anderson missed last night. Kamari Lassiter and defensive tackle Foley Fatukasi got injured during the Detroit game, and those are both impact pieces for them. But it doesn't matter. All of the games that they lost during the stretch are winnable, especially last night. We'll get to that, the details on the Lions game, in just a little bit. If you are like me and you want to play CJ Stroud to throw an interception or lower on his passing yards, what better place to do it than on Underdog? Underdog is the best place and the easiest to play fantasy sports. All you have to do is pick between 2 to 8 pick'em entries where you just pick a player's stats and higher or lower it, and you can win up to 1,000 times your money. It's as simple as that. They have streaks as well, where if you get 2 picks right, you then have to get 9 more correct in a row, singles, to win up to 1,000 times your money. If you sign up with code FANATICS, you get a deposit match up to $1,000 and a free pick of higher on 0.5 on a player. The link will be down below in the description, so sign up for Underdog with code FANATICS. So let's go into the games. They've had no impressive wins this year. They beat New England. This is their best win. They beat New England 41-21 against a rookie Drake May in his first NFL start where he looked really good. He had a couple turnovers. One was not his fault, and one happened after he should have been face mask. But that doesn't matter. He still had a couple turnovers. Either way, they beat them 41-21 against a rookie quarterback. Good job. This is embarrassing, though. One game was during this 1-3 stretch, and one was week 1 against the Colts, where they barely beat their division rival. And I know division games are always hard-fought games for the most part. But when Anthony Richardson completes just 10 of 32 passes and 9 of 19, you're supposed to win these games by more than a margin of 5 total. 29-27 in week 1 and 23-20 in a couple weeks ago. You are supposed to win those games by more than 5 total points. Now let's go to the Green Bay loss. They lost 24-22 after Stroud went 10 of 21 for 86 yards and no touchdowns. The defense and Joe Mixon single-handedly kept them in this game. Green Bay turned the ball over 3 times compared to Houston's, you guessed it, 0. You win the time possession battle as well and the penalty games and still find a way to lose a close game on the road. They were bad on third downs. They went 4 of 13, and clearly the offense could not get anything going outside of Mixon. Diggs had nothing. Dell had nothing. Stroud could not get the ball downfield. They only threw the ball 21 times, yes, where I believe they ran it about 33 times. But either way, Stroud is supposed to play better there. You don't complete 10 of 21 passes for 86 yards, win the third, do terrible on third downs. That was the biggest issue. They were terrible on third downs, less than 33%. That's terrible. Then the Jets lost. This one is bad. You lose to the 2-6 Jets in prime time, 21-13. Stroud gets sacked 8 times, an example of his offensive line being terrible, but he went 11 of 30. The Texans won the time possession and the penalty battle again, but also they were bad on third downs again, 6 of 17. You can't do anything when your offense plays this poorly. You can't allow the Jets, of all teams, to dismantle you on offense. They didn't have a great offensive game, but they put up 21 points. They won the game by 8, and they just stopped you defensively. Sauce Gardner isn't having his best season of his career. Someone could have gotten open. Someone could have done something. But no. You just lose straight up to the New York Jets, a terrible team. Terrible, terrible team. They are 3-7 now. They lost to the Patriots, of all teams. The Patriots. I'm a Patriots fan, as you see. They lost to us. How do you, as the Houston Texans, a Super Bowl contender, lose to this team? And now, finally, we get to the Detroit Lions game. Let's start with the obvious. How does Jared Goff throw 5 interceptions and you still lose the game? Jared Goff, one of the most efficient quarterbacks of the last 4 years since he's been with the Lions. He's been one of the better quarterbacks, and he has a terrible game. Terrible. And you lose? That doesn't happen. This is not a game where you lose to a 5-interception quarterback. You win the turnover battle. You win the penalty battle again. But you go 6 of 15 on third down. You throw 2 interceptions yourself at the beginning of the second half when you had the momentum. You were up 23-7. But then the Lions go on and score 19 unanswered points to beat you. Here's how the Texans did after turnovers. The first Goff interception led to a Joe Mixon touchdown. Yay. The second one led to a Kaimi Fairbairn field goal to put them up 16-7. Good. Third was a Hail Mary at the end of the first half. Didn't matter. The fourth led to a 3-and-out. The fifth led to a punt in a drive where there was that holding penalty and then a 10-yard sack right after it to bring you to 2nd and 30. There is something wrong with this Texans team, and it is so obvious at this point. It's CJ Stroud, it's the receivers, it's the offensive line, and yes, they have health problems. But these are all winnable games. You were put in winnable situations. You are supposed to be a Super Bowl contender that's supposed to be able to withstand a couple injuries. Yes, Nico's a star, Diggs is a star, Will Anderson was out for last night. But these are games you are supposed to win. When you force 5 turnovers, win the time of possession and the penalty battle for the third game out of the 4 that you lost out of the 4 games in total since week 7. You win this game. You beat the Packers and you beat the Jets. You don't lose in these embarrassing fashions. The Packers loss wasn't necessarily embarrassing, but it is still a game that you should have won. With all that being said, I'd like to thank you all for tuning into Fanatic Sports. If you made it this far into the video, like, subscribe, and comment down below why you think the Texans are playing this poorly. The defense has been great. The offense has been terrible. It's as simple as that. Defense hasn't been great. It's been okay. If you liked the video, please show support. This is Joe of Fanatic Sports, signing off.